Hello, and welcome to a very special podcast episode from P-Bone. I'm Adam McCulloch, content manager at P-Bone, and I know what you're thinking. The world doesn't need another podcast, but what the world does need is music. And to create more musicians, we need passionate educators to inspire the next generation. And we don't get much more inspiring and passionate than our guest today. And I'm delighted to say that joining us all the way from Washington State is a musical maestro on a mission to spread the word about mariachi. Mariachi director for Mount Vernon, Washington, Ramón Rivera. Hi, Ramon. How are you doing?
Hi, good morning, Adam. Thank you for having me on your show. I'm really excited to talk about mariachi today.
I'm very excited too, and it's very fitting that we're talking about mariachi because Hispanic Heritage Month begins on September the 15th, so it's the perfect time to kickstart your learning and bring mariachi into the classroom. So, Ramon, you are a champion of mariachi music. Can you tell us all about your journey as a musician and an educator?
Well, music education started me as a musician. So music education is so important. My mom went to a yard sale and bought a trumpet and said, one day you're going to play mariachi. And I said, oh, whatever, Mom. And that's how moms are. She went and bought me this trumpet, some $20 trumpet or something at the yard sale. And I joined band. I joined the fourth grade band, and then I loved it. I joined the fifth grade band and the sixth grade band and middle school band and high school band and college band. And then once I started playing the trumpet, you never want to go back. You just love playing the sound of it. And then during high school, I was able to join a mariachi band in Los Angeles, and then I was hooked. Then I started playing at weddings and celebrations, and the power of music, you could go anywhere to play music. And with music education, by her buying me that trumpet at the yard sale, changed my life. I wouldn't be talking to you right now if it wasn't for music education. I wouldn't be talking to you right now if my mom really believed in me and bought me that trumpet. So we have a lot of power as parents and as families, as educators, to just start someone, to believe in someone to play an instrument. Because I thought there's no way I would be able to play a trumpet and perform in front of thousands of people. And now I'm talking to people around the world and educating teachers worldwide because someone believed in me. And then my music teachers just kept on encouraging me to do more and more and more. And then I started volunteering at the Boys and Girls Club after school, started teaching mariachi to kids. And once I started working with kids and started seeing how kids change their lives by playing music, I didn't want to be a professional musician no more. I just wanted to teach kids because the power of music changes kids' lives, and I see it every day in the classroom.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and it obviously, as you say, it changed your life, and
Yeah,
it's fitting that you mentioned two really important topics that we're going to discuss today, which is family and also the importance of educators in that journey. So, could you highlight for us some of the key benefits of bringing mariachi into the classroom?
Well, what the thing is with the explosion of the Hispanic community nationwide in the United States and also in Europe and all over the world, there's Latinos everywhere. Latinos are a big part of our culture and our community. And so I think we're changing it from the traditional band, orchestra, choir, percussion ensemble. We just went to the Modern Band Summit, and the Modern Band Summit had a rock band. It had a mariachi band. It had a marimba band. It had ukuleles. It had rap, a whole section on hip hop and rap. So I think that we love the traditional way of teaching music, which is band, choir, and orchestra. And also we love Beethoven. We love Mozart. But I think as an educator, we need to go from mariachi to Mozart. If we're not teaching from mariachi to Mozart, then we're missing this big gap of students. What I think it's important is that it's an untapped market for music educators. If they are not teaching to their demographics, because that's important, you're recognizing the music in your community, because mariachi music is community, is going to your community and see what kind of music. If I lived in Ireland, they would be teaching music from Ireland. If I lived in Scotland, I would be teaching the music from Scotland. If I lived in Korea, we would learn the music from Korea. I think because of the big influx of Latinos in the United States, and the Southwest Mexico used to be part of the United States. Half of the United States used to be part of Mexico. And so we have this big population that was not connected to music, that was not want to learn about Beethoven and Bach. And I said, I love them. They're great. But I think us as educators have to find what engages students. So at this summit, they did one on hip hop. It engaged the Black community. Mariachi engages the Hispanic community, which is great because we need it. Kids need music and they need to feel hope, because that's what happened to me when I got that trumpet in fourth grade. I felt hope. Someone believed in me. I could play this? Really? I could go perform and go play at football games and play at Disneyland. We marched in Disneyland. It was so cool. Wow. So I really think that music is the key to get kids and doing better in school, because every study shows that a kid that's in music does better in school. They have better attendance. They have a more connection to the school pride, cultural pride. There's so many different aspects that they leadership, they know how to do an interview because they have to perform. So when people think that music education is not important, it is really sad because it covers so much. So when I work at a school and they always ask me, Ramon, we have these kids that are failing. We have these kids that are not showing up to school. I tell them more art, more music. Let's buy more instruments. Why give the student double math or double English if they hate going to math, or they hate going to English, or they hate going to science? Let's find a way to engage these students, connecting kids to school. And there's no better way to connect kids to school than music education or mariachi. If mariachi's the key, I don't care if it's cheerleading. I don't care if it's chess club. I don't care if it's robotics club. It doesn't matter. I think kids need to find those positive outlets. If we don't have positive outlets, then they will find the negative outlets. That you could turn on the news and you could see all these kids that don't have music in their life. They don't have cheerleading in their life. They don't have sports. They don't have any connection to the school. And so I work with teenagers. So as a young teenager, if I'm not connected to school, I'm going to find those negative outlets. So what I really like about the P instruments, P bone, P trumpet, P all of them, it makes this accessible to those kids. So a lot of the kids that are from low income or have families that don't make a lot of money, they can't afford an $800 trumpet. $800 trumpet is the basic trumpet's around $800, a Yamaha, a Bach. But for example, our high-tech trumpet's around $250. That's affordable, right? I just happen to have one. Sorry. The P cornet is something affordable, light, and some kid could start on it early, and they don't have to get my $40 one at the garage sale, at the yard sale. But I think we need to make music more accessible to especially the families that need it, especially to our Latino community, our Black community, our people of color, because they don't have somebody to write a check and buy a new trumpet or a saxophone or a drum or a tuba. Nobody could afford a tuba, And so I really think that what we're doing here in Washington and the United States is making an equal playing field for those kids so that everyone could play music. I believe that we teach everybody who walks through that door, no matter what, rich, poor, autistic, disabled, whatever, everyone could learn music, but we have to make it accessible. It is my job as an educator to make sure that everyone has a chance to do it, because a lot of people say we're diverse, we celebrate diversity, we celebrate inclusion, but inclusion means that you're including every single person that goes to the school. Like Mount Vernon High School has 2,000 kids. I try my best to include all 2,000 kids no matter what. And so I really think music education is so important that we must make sure that every student can have an instrument, every student can learn. And I'm really excited to have this journey with P Trumpet to make sure that we could put instruments in students' hands.
Well,
sorry, I go preaching a little bit, but I'm so passionate about this. I really believe in making sure that everyone could learn music.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's obviously our message as well. Halfway through that, I was wishing that you were my music teacher at school there, and maybe I'd have had more of a musical career myself. But that leads me very nicely on to talking about educators who haven't played mariachi before, because you've laid out all the benefits there and obviously the wider benefits for children. But I'm sure many educators will be listening to this thinking, that sounds great, but I've never played mariachi before. So how would you help those kinds of teachers get started?
Well, I really think a teacher, if they could read a score, they could teach mariachi. If they could read music, mariachi music used to be just passed on through family. Like, for instance, my mom played mariachi music. My brothers, my sisters, he used to be part of the Rivera family, and the Rivera family would pass down the tradition of mariachi. But with music in our schools and students learning how to read music and learning the structure of that, you can teach mariachi. Now, the trumpet is a B-flat trumpet. It's no special mariachi trumpet. The violin is just a regular orchestra violin. You already know violin. You already know trumpet. Guitar, it's mostly a lot of in the beginning, it's D, G, A7 thing. The only one that's different is the vihuela, which is this instrument right here, which has 5 strings. Yeah. And but the chords are the same. Like, this is G, this is D, this is A7. There's a couple chords that are different, but this is easily learned. So if you already know guitar, basic guitar, you could teach that. The only one that's hard is the guitarrón, but I really think there's books, there's videos, everything could be learned by YouTube now. I mean, there's students that I just start them on the instrument and they go to YouTube and they just, in 2 weeks, learn so much. So I really think that the only thing is the guitarrón, but it's played in bass clef. You can read bass clef. We can read treble clef. I really think that, and it's only 5 instruments. If you think of a band or an orchestra, bassoon, oboe, I don't know how they do it. I don't know how an orchestra director has to know the bassoon, the harp, the cello, the double bass. So I really think it's more accessible, more affordable. And if you were to start, let's say, a concert band or a marching band, you're talking easily $80,000 to $100,000 in instruments. In mariachi, you could get trumpets, guitars, guitarrones for maybe $8,000 to $10,000, which is more affordable than starting a concert band of $100,000, because you need the timpanis and the tubas and the double basses and cello. I mean, just one cello is very expensive. So I really like how we are getting instruments in students' hands and working with music educators. I worked with a lot of music educators across the country thanks to P Trumpet. And one of the things we did was there was an elementary school that had ukuleles, and we got them some P trumpets. And so they formed a mariachi with ukuleles and P trumpets. Or they had guitars. They get guitars and P trumpet, or there's different ways that you could do it. And also the singing part. So what I'm really excited is that we came up with some 6-7 basic songs that is found on the P Trumpet website, and they're 8-bar songs, and it includes the guitar chords and also these simple melodies that you could add to your curriculum. So what I really like is that these songs, teachers could add that. So like the traditional band books, they don't have mariachi songs in it. So they could take my 6 songs, 8-bar songs, and just say, okay, today we're going to learn this song. Today we're going to learn that song. So you could inject mariachi. Even if you don't have a full mariachi program, you could do that. There was an elementary school teacher who took the songs and did them with boomwhackers and did it with her marimbas in schools. And so you could take these songs and use it however you'd like. I just want you to include mariachi in your curriculum, because you have to say to yourself as a music educator, am I doing Mozart to mariachi? If we're not doing those, if you're not teaching that, then we're missing so much of music. Because if you're just teaching Eastern European music, which is great, I love Bach, I love Beethoven, I love Bach chorales, but there's so much more. There's so much international music. We got to make sure that we cover it in the classroom.
Absolutely. And like you say, you don't have to follow hard and fast rules. You don't, if you haven't got a guitar on, if you are following a ukulele program and you want to introduce instruments in, you can play these songs. So what you're saying is essentially that any school could start a mariachi program.
Yeah, and if you have a double bass, you could use that as the guitarro. I've taught whole bands like, they're like, we just want to include mariachi, and they took my 8-bar songs and they used it as a pep song during a basketball game so that they could have a mariachi song in it. So I was really cool, because they sent me the video and they were like, wow, we use one of your songs for as a pep song, because pep songs are usually like, a minute long anyway. They're like, we used it and the crowd loved it. And so, see, this is where you could include the Latino genre into your music, the mariachi genre into your program, because I think a lot of the music that's written is Eastern European, Mozart, Beethoven, rock and roll. But as a lot of schools are serving a big Latino population, let's inject some of that music into your curriculum. Why not? It's so much fun.
Absolutely. Yeah. And again, you've led me very nicely onto my next question, which was going to be about the community. How important is it to have music that reflects your local community? Obviously, you work in Washington State, but I'm sure there'll be other educators, administrators, principals listening to this across the United States, maybe even in the UK where I'm based, listening to this and thinking, well, I want to do the same thing. I want to reflect my community in our music program.
Well, I really think that my class is a community center. I always think that my classroom's a community center. Some cities still have community centers where people come in and play music and have dances and have that. I really think that's missing in a lot of communities. So if you don't have that in your community, use your classroom. Think outside the 4 walls that you're in and invite the community. I invite every single musician. I invite the music store owner. I invite the mayor, the council, the governor even came to my classroom. You have to make sure that the community feels part of your classroom, because the community will in turn will help you if you need instruments, if you need a funding. I mean, all I have to do is speak to the local Rotary Club or Service Club. They want to support your program, but you have to be sort of like a politician and go out there and show off your kids. Show off. There's no better advocate for schools than a music program. So if you're not using your kids as an avenue to make your school look good, then we're missing out, because I think half our job is PR. Half our job is public relations and getting to our community and say, look at what these kids are doing. Because I really think teenagers have a bad rap nowadays. If you think of teenagers, just the image, if I just said teenager, but I know, I don't want to be near those teenagers. And I always bring the teenagers, they don't talk about the kids that are doing good things, the kids that are getting A's, the kids that are getting working hard in school and serving their community. Because if we don't show our community that the kids are doing amazing things, they will have the image that they see on the TV. They will see the image that they put on movies and the internet. I really think the majority of students and kids and teenagers are great kids. We just don't hear about it because it doesn't sell newspapers, or it doesn't add clicks and doesn't add ratings. And so family is so important. The next part is I work with a lot of schools. and they have trouble with family engagement. They have trouble with families even just coming to back to school night or open house or parent conferences. And why not have your school mariachi perform for open house, parent night? Use that opportunity, teach the kids a couple songs. Their parents will come to see their kids perform. And I've seen it. I worked with a school in Idaho, and they never had a parent engagement night. And so we brought in the folklorical dancers. I taught the band some mariachi songs, and hundreds of Latino families came. And this was not a school that I taught at. I was able to work with this teacher who was not Latino and said, he goes, I really want to make my community come out. And I said, well, let's have this community event. Where, so he got Mexican food for everybody. He got the family engagements and the community leaders. And so everybody came together to celebrate this night. And they already called me. They're like, we want to do it again next year. We're going to have you come out, bring your pea trumpets, you know. And so I really think that we're forgetting the community aspect of music education, which is the band director, the music teacher is really respected in our community. You got to look at them. There's the mayor and there's the band teacher, right? There's the city council person and there's the thing. We just don't think that way. We just think, oh, teachers are very humble. I get it. But I think we're just as important as the city council or the mayor or the governor. We are that important to our community. So when they take that aspect away, since a lot of schools are cutting their music program, you're hurting the community. When you take the band director, they don't take the mayor. They're like the head football coach. I think the band director is just as important as a football coach, soccer coach, baseball coach. It's the same thing. We just don't look at that way as music educators, and we have to start looking at that way that we are the advocates. No one's going to champion more your program than the teacher. I always say to people are programs. People are programs. Like my school, I am the face of the mariachi, and I'm trying to be the face for mariachi education for teachers nationwide to give them hope. Now, I give my students hope every day, and I give my community hope, but now I have a platform to go international, nationwide, to tell teachers, use your platform. That's what, when I do presentations, I tell them, use your platform. You're a teacher. Like the mayor, he uses his platform. The city councilman, the governor, they all use their platform to talk about whatever issues that are going on. We need to talk about what our community needs and use that platform because you are respected. If you're the band director, you're going to get the phone call back. If you call the mayor and say, hey, let's work on getting instruments for the kids. Let's go to their service industry. So there's the two parts, getting the community engaged and then getting the families engaged, because Latino families sometimes struggle with coming to different parent events or open house because they don't feel comfortable. But they would feel so comfortable if you, let's say they wore an outfit like what I'm wearing, and playing the music from where they're from. Like a lot of our families are from Mexico, so we're going to play some of the music where they're coming from. And I've seen it. I've seen parents be more involved in their school. And if parents are more involved, guess who does better in school? The kids. And guess who the community's involved, guess what does better? The teachers. So it takes a village, and people look at it as like, I'm the teacher, I'm just going to do my 3 classes and go home. It's not. You live the part. I can't go shopping without talking to 5 students or 5 parents or 5 things, because I'm engraved in the community. I am part of the community. I live 5 minutes from my school because I want to be part of the community. So I really think community and music and PR and all these different aspects can all come together to become a successful program. And so that's my goal, is to make sure that the community is involved, that the parents are involved, that the families involved, that the students engage, and we make sure that everybody has music accessible to them. And that's what I'm working with P-Trump, because they gave me a national platform, which is good. It's I get to today talking at the podcast, but I also get to say this to teachers nationwide. So I'm really excited to have this Hispanic Heritage Month celebration and teach teachers how to do this.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think it shows as well, and you highlighted how much music would have been missed in the community when it's not there, but also how easy it is to do little things, little injections of mariachi into the program. And I guess for some educators now, as you just mentioned, Mo, with Hispanic Heritage Month coming up, are there any really simple, quick wins that teachers can use in the classroom to inject some mariachi into their lessons?
Yeah, so what I'm really excited, I'm working on a project right now. It's for Hispanic Heritage Month, and what we're going to do with P Trumpet, we're going to do a full rollout of free resources for teachers. The best thing, guys, it's free. Teachers love it when they're free, because I know you have a limited budget. Teachers have limited budget, and I understand it's hard. Music program, you could have $1 million and still have more to spend on it. Music program, you're never done. You could buy new uniforms, you could buy new tubas, you could buy anything. But I'm really excited to introduce our Hispanic Heritage Month teacher resources. First, already on the website is my 6 songs that are 8-bar songs. You could download them. There's also YouTube videos that shows you how to play them. I'm also recording guitarron and guitar parts on the 2 new songs that I just put. I put guitarron and guitar parts so teachers can see it. It's all on the P Trumpet and P-Bone website. The next thing is here's a mock-up of our poster. We have a new one that's coming out. This is going to be the Hispanic Heritage Month poster. And what's really cool about this poster is that I really think students need to see, if they teach Latino students, they need to see a Latino leader on their wall. I think, I do a lot of visits to classrooms, and I go take a look at just what they have on the wall. And I see a lot of them just plain white walls and plain brown or avocado green, right? Yeah, walls. And I go, it needs color. So when I work with a teacher, I show them my class. If you came to my classroom, you would see pictures of the kids all over. I even took over the whole hall and have pictures of my students with their beautiful dresses, and then the principal gave me control of the televisions in my building. So I put pictures of the kids all over the place, because it is so important for them to see that. So our new Hispanic Heritage Month poster is going to be a free download, and also we are going to be passing out to different stores and different areas, so that teachers could check that box. I'm going to say is having the Hispanic Heritage Month poster on the wall. The next thing is we're going to have a kickoff, and it's going to be really, really cool. And I have a PowerPoint that teachers could download for free, and we're going to start September 18th through the 22nd, because it starts on September 15th, which is a Friday, but we're going to start on Monday the 18th. Every day for 5 days in a row, we're going to have outstanding Latino artists. I have Carlos Santana, I have Vicente Fernandez, Selena, Gloria Estefan, and Celia Cruz. What you're going to do is when you come into your classroom, each of you have a projector or a slide, or you could even print it out. You're going to have that slide on the wall, and it's going to say Celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, and you're going to play the YouTube of Selena or Vicente Fernandez or Gloria Estefan, and you could just use 1 minute of your class time and say, today, as you're coming in the classroom, we are celebrating Gloria Estefan, and she sold this many albums, she's won this many Grammys, she's opened the door for this, and all that. Well, your Latino students will love it, because they're going to go, my mom loves that song, my dad loves that artist, my cousin, my uncle, and that's where it gets to the community again. And then for the students that are not Latino, maybe they don't know who Gloria Estefan is. Maybe they don't know who Vicente Fernandez is, or they don't even know who Carlos Santana is. So I really think it works for everybody because everybody should know who Carlos Santana is. Everybody should know who Gloria Estefan is. Everyone should know who Vicente Fernandez, and everyone should know Selena. And why is she important? Because what Hispanic Heritage Month is to celebrate the contributions of Latino leaders and what did they bring up, and what better way than we have the most talent. I mean, some of the most talented musicians in the world are Latino. I mean, Gloria Estefan, we could talk about 3 hours of how great she is. I mean, she broke out with her song Conga, and she brought that rhythm that was never heard before, because conga was a traditional rhythm, right? It was only found in Cuba, but she made an international hit. And now her song is used everywhere. Carlos Santana, all these are legends that every musician should know about. And so what a great way to start it. And the reason why I have these ready to go in a box lessons is because Hispanic Heritage Month is the second week of school. So teachers are freaking out. They're already worried about their classroom. You don't have to do nothing. All you have to do is go to the Pete Trumpet website, Pete Bone website. It'll be on our social media. And I'm really excited to do this project because now I could use my platform to share these free resources, and imagine how many classrooms worldwide, in the United States, in UK, will be celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month in their classroom, even if it's just for a minute. And then we talk about celebrating diversity and culture, and we believe in that. You're doing it. You're being culturally responsible by including that in your curriculum. And even if you don't have a school with a Hispanic population, you go, hey, let's include this. Let's learn about this. I think we need to change our view. Then you're going really Mozart to mariachi, right? You're doing it by just injecting these little things, and by having a poster on the wall. Maybe you have 2 Latino students at your school, and they go, wow, you really respect my culture. You really believe in it. And I really think that we just need to just recognize, right? Just recognize. And I think we need to recognize people's culture. Like, I love learning about different culture. I went to Alaska one time. I wanted to learn from the natives. I went to a native school where they taught violin, and I asked them, can you speak your native language of Alaska? And they did. And it was so cool because I wanted to learn it. I wanted to say that I want to learn about culture. And I think as a music educator, we just forget that cultural part, right?
Yeah.
If I went to England, I would love to go see the British marching. I would love to go to see Big Ben. I would love to see, where King Charles is and all that, because that is culture. That's your community. That's what makes the UK, and that's what makes mariachi is. So I really think that this kickoff is going to inspire teachers nationwide, is going to give them these free resources, and also showing that Pete Trumpet and myself and our community, this is how we bring people together. The best way to bring people together is through the power of music and food. So if you have those 2 things, right? You have music and you have food. Who doesn't like Mexican food? Tell me who doesn't like Mexican food. Everybody loves Mexican food, and everyone loves Mexican music. And this is where we could talk about world peace and forget the politics, forget what people are saying about each other. If people would just celebrate together. And that's how we're doing this. We're celebrating together. So there's Black History Month, there's Native History Month, there's Asian Pacific Islander Month, there's Pride Month. All of these are a way of saying, hey, we're all human. We're all together. We're all celebrating. A G is a G, right? A G is a G, a is a B is a B, a C is a C. Even in England, a G is a G. Even in Ireland, a G is a G. Even in Japan, G. We speak this international language of music. And I really think that by us recognizing everybody's culture, we could be a better society, a better community, and we could come and get those stereotypes that we think we know about each other, and just come together through the power of music and food, right? Food is obviously one. I can't wait to go to England one day and try the food there because I heard it's the best. But I want some fish and chips from England, not the ones here. I want, yeah. I mean, but see, right? That gave me a connection with you, Adam, right? Because I talked about England. Imagine that engagement you would have with your students if you started talking about this. It's like somebody told me, like, it's like going to an airport in a different country. If I went to England and I saw another person dressed like this, I'd be like, "Hey, brother!" I would go, "Hey, how you doing? You're mariachi? I'm a mariachi." It's like if you came to the United States and you saw someone else from Manchester, England, or someone from London, you'd be like, "Hey, I'm British too." And so I think that's the connection that we're looking for, is that when students come to school, they see someone else that looks like them or celebrates like them, they'll be like, "Wow, they are instant connection."
Yeah.
It's just crazy how small the world is.
Oh, it is, yeah. I will correct you on one thing, though. A typical English thing to do when you see another English person abroad is just walk the other way. But but on the you're probably in the wrong place. You're probably queuing up for fish and chips, right? But no, I completely agree.
You got to tell me the traditional food. One day I'm going to go visit you, Adam, and I want to see those. I want to go there.
We will absolutely have fish and chips together, Ramon. I'd love that because
yes.
You are absolutely right, because it opens up this conversation straight away. Music is fantastic for that. And as you rightly mentioned earlier, even if your school has one Latino student, has no Latino students, you might be listening to this and you've heard how passionate Ramon is about music and you think, great, let's give this a try. Even just listening to some of these songs that you might not be familiar with, or you might not realize a connection with mariachi, it can really open up some doors, can't it? And it gets people talking.
Yes, it does. And a lot of times as people go, I heard this song in a movie, I just never knew the name, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of mariachi music in the background, and I always want to know what the name of that song is. I've heard it in the background, but now it's there. It's there as one of our resources so that you will be talking about it. And what is going to go to our next part, which is Mariachi Mondays, which is really, really cool, is on our Instagram through P-Buzz and P-Bone and P-Everything, is that we're going to have 1-minute videos of like what mariachi music is. The first one is going to be talking about what Hispanic Heritage Month is. So I'm really excited because Hispanic Heritage Month was a week by Lyndon Johnson from it used to be just a week, September 15th to the 25th. It was just a week. But then President Reagan signed into law to make it a whole month to celebrate the contributions of Hispanic Americans. And so now it's a federal holiday. It's signed by the President of the United States. So we can't say, well, we shouldn't celebrate it. It's a federal law. It's in our bylaws. So what I think I'm going to do with these Mariachi Mondays is that we're going to have a post to talk about mariachi, just talk about the different instruments, the vihuela, the guitarrón, the trumpet, the singing, how to play trumpet with a mariachi style. So I'm really excited to have these out. And this is another thing you could add to your Hispanic Heritage Month celebration in your classroom. You go, okay, today we're going to learn about the guitarrón and play the video. And you could show the poster. Really simple. I'm not asking you to change your whole lesson. I'm just saying to add it before the class starts. Take attendance and do that. Or we're going to watch this video and then we're going to take attendance. Whatever you want to do, it's your classroom. But I really want you to include this in your classroom so that we are culturally responsible, that we are making sure that every student feels welcome and that their culture is recognized. Representation matters in the classroom. Representation matters in your curriculum. Representation matters in the music you select. So when you're doing right now, teachers are in August and trying to figure out what I could do. Just remember, representation matters. Do you have your signage for your classroom in Spanish? Do you put bienvenidos, which is welcome, in your classroom? Do you have a Latino leader on your wall? Because representation matters. Because if they see a book and it's just blonde hair, blue-eyed people, they're going to go, well, maybe this music is not for me. And that's what I like. I've seen it in P Trumpet in our new books that are out there, or the P Buzz. They make sure that everyone's represented in their book and in their website. And so that's one of the things I really like about working with the P Trumpet, is that they really have a vision of including everyone, and that representation matters. And so I'm gonna say that a lot, because it's true. If I was a Latino student coming into a new school and looking at blonde hair, blue eyed people, and I don't relate to anybody, what better way? Simple stuff that you could do. That's not going to take away from your curriculum, and you don't have to do any work. It's all done on the website. And I'm really excited to do this project.
We're excited too. And as you say, it can be small things, but it can lead somewhere big. And look at yourself where we started today. You one trumpet at a yard sale later, and you're telling the world about the work that you're doing, Ramon. So it's really inspiring to hear.
I always thank my mom. I go, Mom, I can't believe it that I'm a national speaker for trumpet playing, and to be on this platform and to use it. It's all because my mom believed in me. My music teachers believed in me. My band teacher believed in me, and the community believed in me, because it took the community. I'll tell you, in 7th grade, our band program was cut, and our community was upset. And you know what they did? They raised a whole bunch of money to bring back the program. So I always tell this story because I was crushed when my music program was cut. They said there's going to be no band next year. And this happened in 7th grade. But the community saved it. They have an organization called Save Our Kids Music. And they're still going on strong today. And I always give them a shout out, because I wouldn't be here if the community didn't go back and say, no, music education is important. We're going to fund it ourselves. And that's what they did. They raised a whole bunch of money, and the band program came back in another 6 months. It started after school, and then it was back in the school days. So if you can't keep your music program, it is your education. It's the community's education. It's our school, right? And we have to fight for what kids need, and music education is so important.
It absolutely is. And yeah, we hope that during Hispanic Heritage Month and beyond that you engage with the incredible, and I mean incredible, resources that Ramon has created. There's not just free sheet music, as he's already beautifully put. There's going to be free videos on Instagram. There are lesson plans. There are all sorts of resources. And if you're listening to this and you've got more questions, if you're curious, if you want to know ways that you can get started, please get in touch. Wherever you find this episode, there will be contact details for us here at P-Bone, and also Ramon as well. But I could talk to you all day, Ramon, because you are so inspiring and you're so passionate. But we will definitely do this again sometime. But for now, thank you so much, and I really wish you well. I was going to say have a great summer break, but here you are working away as always. So.
No, I'm always working for the kids. Teachers really don't have summer off, but I usually use the summer to just do advocacy, because I have this platform, and thank you, Adam, for inviting me on your show today to tell people that they can do it. So don't let anybody say you can't add mariachi to your program. We will help you. We will make sure that you have it, and there's free resources. Just even including mariachi just a bit is the first step. Hi, everyone. This is Ramon Rivera from P-Bone, and I'm really excited to introduce our free mariachi resources. I am a music teacher from Mount Vernon, Washington, and I have made some simple music lessons that you could add mariachi to your classroom, some free sheet music, and also history about mariachi music. So make sure you download them at the link below. Take a look at all the wonderful resources, and you too could add mariachi to your classroom.
「 mariachi, 'cause 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 'c Mariachi!